Hey everyone, I have another try this at home teaching tip for you today. This is just a series of short little ideas that I want you to take into your teaching. Most of them are going to be about your private teaching, but not all of them. And then come back and let me know how it went, let me know what it brought up for you, and let me know what questions you have. So here's today's try this at home. Keep the chatting with your private students to a minimum. I know this is something a lot of teachers struggle with, partly because in a private lesson, it's really natural to engage in dialogue, engage in conversation, have your students bring up and bring forward to your lesson maybe more intimate details of what's going on in their body or their life than they would in a group class. And I actually think all of that's good. I think the more information that you have about your student, about what they're noticing in their body, about what's going on for them in their life, the better. Because your job as their private yoga teacher is to take everything that's going on with them in their body, in their heart, and their mind, and create a practice that is supportive and challenging where appropriate, and interesting and balancing. So the more information you have about them, the better. But I still am going to suggest that you try to keep the chatting to a minimum, because it's very easy in a private setting for it to just become 30 minutes of chatting, and then do you just do 30 minutes of practice, or do you go over 30 minutes? And very quickly the boundaries can get very confusing. If you study with me in person, the lecture on boundaries literally takes a full hour day to get through, 8-hour day to get through. I have a lot of thoughts about boundaries, and I know it's something that a lot of yoga teachers struggle with. So I have a lot of tools for you to use to work with, but I'll just give you like the real quick, brief version today. Having clarity in the boundaries around how you work with your student is equal to the amount of depth that's possible in your work together. So a lack of clear boundaries around time, around money, around how you relate to each other outside of the session will limit the depth of work that is possible. I'm going to say that again. The clarity of your boundaries is what determines the depth of the work. I have identified like 5 or maybe even now 6 different kinds of boundaries, but 2 foundational ones are the boundaries of time and the boundaries of money. So it's important that you're not going over your sessions 10, 15, 20 minutes. And to really make the most out of your work, you need to be doing the work, which is engaged in practice, whether that's a movement practice, whether it's restorative practice, whether it's meditation, or pranayama, whatever parts of the practice are most important for your student, that you're engaging in those. Now, maybe there could also be some discussion of philosophy, of the yamas and the niyamas and the way that translates into life. And that's a wonderful thing to bring forward. I'm still going to say keep the chatting to a minimum. And here's the rule. If you're teaching 60-minute sessions, you get 7 minutes to talk. If you're teaching 75-minute sessions, maybe you get 10 or even 12 minutes to chat, but not more than that. It can very quickly kind of devolve again into like a boundaryless relationship where they're treating you like a friend or like a therapist, and you're neither of those. We are not there to treat, to diagnose on any realm, the physical or the emotional. We're there to create and hold space for a practice that is meaningful and accessible and supportive. So we're not going to spend 20, 30 minutes engaged in conversation about the difficult things happening in their life, because we're not their therapist. And that kind of conversation is better with somebody who's trained to be in conversation in that way. But we have skills and the ability to offer a practice that a traditionally trained therapist wouldn't, which is we have skills that can help them be in their body in hopefully a more engaged, more present, maybe even more comfortable way. And that's really valuable. So if you have a relationship set up with a private client where there's always 15, 20 minutes of chatting, maybe you don't get as much practice in as you'd like, or maybe you're going over, your try this at home homework is to rein it in. And one of the fastest ways to shift from a chatting conversation into practice is to get people talking about their physical experience. So if someone's telling you about something that's going on in their body or in their life that's very, challenging or difficult or interesting, if you ask them to talk more about the way it's specifically affecting their body, the more quickly you will walk your way towards a practice that is useful for them. So if they're telling you about a lot of drama at work and the boss and blah, 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 and it kind of is going on and on, as soon as you can kind of get a word in edgewise, you might say something like, oh my God, it really sounds like a lot. I'm so sorry that you're dealing with that right now. How is that affecting your body? And then maybe they say, oh yeah, my neck is really bothering me, or I haven't really been sleeping that well. And now they're giving you problems that you have potential solutions for. And you can start to walk towards being in practice with them rather than being in conversation. So obviously I have a lot more to say about that, but this is just the quick version. So try this at home. Keep your chatting to 7 minutes or less, and then come back here and let me know how it goes and what questions you have. Bye for now.